Love that like his heart went to sorrow, was in sorrow, and then it turned to rejoicing. Because why? Because he's taking his thoughts captive. Hi, welcome back. So today I just want to do a little walkthrough of the Psalm study we've been doing. I've had a lot of requests for just like a video walkthrough, so that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to go through each page, just kind of talk you through what I did. I'll share a few resources that I've kind of used, but we're just going to do a little walkthrough of the Psalm study. If you have not joined us yet, you can absolutely join us. There are printables that are available, which I don't have them with me right now. You can either do the printables, you can do something like this. This is an ESV scripture journal, so I will put a link to this in the description. I will also put a link to the printables, so they are in the studio, but they are also on my website for free if you want to join us. And we're just going to talk, and I will also share some tips if you're behind, because you'll notice I have some blank pages, and there's kind of two ways I deal with being behind, and so I'm going to show you all that. So this is our Psalm study. And what we are doing is we are just writing the Psalm. So this is a write the word study, which means we straight up just write scripture. And that's all you have to do, right? So you can do it as simple as you want, or you can go deeper if you want. So simple is just writing down the straight scripture, and that's it. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can do something like writing the theme. If you want to go deeper, you can do things like taking notes, doing word studies, whatever you want. So you'll notice that sometimes I do deeper stuff and sometimes I'm just writing the scripture. But the main thing is just writing the scripture. And we are just writing it word for word. And that's it. That's really what the study is. And it's just a great practice in getting in the word. It's a great practice in meditating on the scripture. One thing that I've really loved about this is I will usually in the morning come in here and write down the scripture. And then I just kind of leave this out during the day, and I will come later on and I will take a few notes. And so honestly, most of these notes were taken at different times. I'll take this note, I'll come back later, I'll take this note, I'll kind of just leave it out so I can read through it throughout the day. And then later that night, I remember I came and I did a little word study. But I've really loved just kind of having it open and being able to just kind of meditate on it. I've been reading this is just a side note, but this is just on my desk. I've been reading this book, Quiet Time with George Mueller, and it talks a lot about meditation, and it kind of just shares his way of reading scripture, which was really just like reading the scripture and meditating on it. And so meditation has kind of been coming up a lot for me, and that is our theme for this month in the studio. But I've just been really kind of just sitting with the scripture. So you can write it. Here I'm doing the theme. So if you have taken my course on Bible journaling, we have a whole section on theme. If you followed me on Instagram or anything, I've also talked about the theme many times. So the theme for me, I mean, honestly, this is kind of the theme, right? Like the way that they title the chapter, that's kind of them giving it a title, giving it a theme. So you can think of it like that. Sometimes I will reword it. Sometimes I'll also just choose something that stuck out to me. And so for this Psalm 1, I chose delight and meditate in every moment, because I kind of just was really focusing on this, delight in the law of the Lord and meditate day and night. And so that's the theme I chose for 1. So this is Psalm 1. For Psalm 2, I did a theme of serve, rejoice, and take refuge. And again, not many notes this time. I took this verse and found the amplified version in it, but I did not do much for this one. I had this one, Psalm 3. Again, I did a theme of safe with him and just little notes. Like here I put depend on him. Here I will just pick out, as for my notes, the things that I will do a lot of times. Sometimes it's not like groundbreaking stuff, guys. Sometimes I'm just picking up things about God and I'm just kind of rewriting it. So like here, I'll write, he is a God that saves and rescues and protects. And that's kind of all over the place, but I kind of just want to summarize it right here. Like, I am safe with you. He is a God that sustains me. So I'll kind of just pick out things that are about him and just kind of write them down. This is Psalm 4. I did a God who is present in my distress. And again, just kind of found different things about he hears. We can call on him in our distress. What does it mean to be godly? So this is the amplified version. I wrote that godly is the one of honorable character and moral courage, the one who does right. He relieves our stress. So again, like writing things about who God is. And then sometimes I'll just it's like almost like a little prayer, just writing, thank you for making me dwell in safety. And then we have Psalm 5. Again, I just took some notes mostly about, I usually a lot of times focus on God and who he is. And then I did do a weekly reflection. So I just kind of went through the past pages and just kind of wrote some things like, what did I learn about God? And what did I learn about how I should live? And then for the theme for 5, I did lead me to you. And then we have 6 here. Again, took a few notes. 7, 8, and you can see 7, this is still 7, sorry. 7, I didn't even write a theme yet. So it's okay if you get behind, and I say behind in like air quotes because you're never really behind. It's mostly just about spending time in the Word. If you get off track, it's totally okay. So we got 7, here's 8. So this is the one tip I want to share. You can see that I have some stuff. I don't have 10 written. I started 11 and then I have 12 written and 13 and 14. So one tip is if you get behind, right? Again, I say quote unquote behind. If you get behind, there's 2 things you can do. Either you can keep going. So that's what I do. So like I was on 8 and then I didn't get to finish it. The next day was 9. So I just wrote 9 and then I was still kind of studying 9. And then the next day was 10. I didn't, like I missed it. And so then I went to the next day, which was like, I just kind of go. And sometimes now I'm here and I'm still kind of studying like 9, and that's okay. Like I'll go back, but you can either go to that current day. And so that's what I do a lot of times. I go to that current day. And that's why you'll see that like 13 is done and 14 is done, because this is the sign thing, I will just go here and I have the weekend to catch up. So I will then on the weekend come back through here and see anything I missed, and I will then do that. So like I'll probably do 10 this weekend. I'll probably finish up 11. So that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is just to keep going. So keep going in terms of do it where you're at. So you can, even if we're on 13 or something, you can just do 9. And then the next day do 10, even if we're on 12. Even if you're supposed to be on 13, now you can do 11. So you can do it either way. We have the weekend off, so that kind of helps. But that's just why there's missing pages for me. I just go to the current day because I know I will have time to kind of make this up. So as you can see, got nothing for 10 or 11. And then here for 12, I wrote the scripture. I did a theme for guarded by him. And then I just wrote about guarding us. God should be a master of our lips. It says it should be, our lips are with us, who is master over us. And so I wrote, God should be master over our words, our actions, our thoughts. And then here's 13. 13 I did do some commentary on. So I've been doing the Enduring Word commentary. It's just a free website, free app. And so I kind of studied that here. So one thing I really loved about the Psalm is how it says, how long, how long, how long, how long? And I was very comforted by that, because I can tell you so many times I've prayed that to God. How long, God, until you answer this prayer? How long am I going to have to do this? How long do you have to suffer this? Like that is one of the prayers that I do a lot. And you almost feel bad for doing it because you feel like, okay, I'm not being grateful enough. I'm not maybe asking God for his perspective, but Spurgeon says this, and so this is the commentary I found, and I wrote it down. If the reader has never yet found occasion to use the language of this brief ode, he will do so ere long, if he be a man after the Lord's own heart. So I kind of love that this is okay. This is a normal thing that happens, but it's also important what he does after that. So after he's saying how long, how does he respond after that? So first, when he is saying how long, he is taking counsel in his own soul. He's not coming to God. He's not turning to God, not taking counsel in him. He's taking counsel in his own soul. So that's like the first thing that he needs to fix, right? And then it talks here about consider and answer me. So he prays to God, right? So after all this, he comes to God and he asks God, light up my eyes, which other translations say open my heart, which means like pray for his better perspective. You're feeling down. You're feeling like God has forgotten you. Like pray to God for his better perspective. And then he persistently prays, and then he remembers. I remember I trust in you, God. I remember your steadfast love. I remember your mercy. And here it talks about I have sorrow in my heart all the day. And then down here it says, my heart shall rejoice in your salvation. So I love that like his heart went to sorrow, was in sorrow, and then it turned to rejoicing. Because why? Because he's taking his thoughts captive. He's taking his feelings captive. He's coming to God. He's turning from his own soul and he's turning to God to pray to him. So this was probably one of my favorite Psalms. And for that theme, I just wrote Turn Your Heart. And then 14, I wrote 14. And again, I haven't even finished studying it. So that's where I'm personally at in my study. Those are all my little pages. Again, you can go as simple as you want, as deep as you want, but I just kind of wanted to share what I've been doing. You can just write it. You can write it, and then later on in the day, later on the weekend, you can kind of go back. That's kind of what I've been doing. I've been really using this like every day, having it sit out and just writing the scripture. And then just when I have time, I come and I look. If I'm sitting with my phone, I try to pull up the Enduring Word app first, or pull up another translation so I can kind of write down some different things from those verses. But I think this has been a really great opportunity to just meditate on His Word. So I hope you are enjoying it. And if you haven't joined us, I would love for you to join us. And let me know if you have any questions.